Okay, friends, you've got the certs, you've done the labs, now you're applying for jobs, anything that says like entry-level security, and you're getting nothing back. You're getting a rejection email like in 20 minutes after you hit submit. Fast enough that, that indicates pretty much to you that some type of AI or machine is reading that before a human actually does. So let me take some weight off your shoulders. It's almost never you or about your skills. It's always about a system that nobody's explained to you. So let's fix that. So number one, I know this problem from both sides of the table, and I want to prove that to you with my own story. Back in 2001, I had military IT experience. I had some Microsoft certifications. I had a Cisco certification and an active security clearance. On paper, you could say I was qualified, but I still couldn't get hired. I ended up refurbishing computers in a factory because the market had collapsed and nothing I had on paper was landing me the role that I wanted. Was I unqualified? Maybe not. The system just wasn't structured for me at that moment. So that's the lesson. That's the lesson. Your rejection rate and your actual ability are two completely different things. So this is what we discussed as rung 4 and rung 5 of the cyber career ladder, positioning yourself and landing your first security job. And it's exactly where most qualified people quietly lose. Not because they can't do the work, but because of four things nobody warned them about. So let's discuss those four things. First reason, the funnel eats you. An entry-level security position can pull hundreds of applicants. No human reads hundreds of resumes. So an automated system has to screen those first, looking for specific keywords, and then a hiring manager will only see the dozens left that survive that first screening. So if your resume doesn't have the exact language, the exact keywords the system is screening for, a human will never see your resume. You didn't lose the interview, you lost a keyword match to a piece of software. The fast no you got, that's the machine, not a person deciding you weren't good enough for that position. Reason two, your resume doesn't speak the job's language. Here's a fixable version of that. Pull up any security position. If it uses specific words like SIM, incident response, vulnerability management, whatever the role is, you got to match your resume to that. If you look at your resume and you've touched those things, but you don't describe them except in maybe your own casual words, the screen doesn't know that. When I read resumes, the ones that got through weren't always maybe the most impressive people, but they were the people who were able to clearly mirror what the role was actually asking for. You have to translate what you've done into the posting's language. If the job posting says we want someone who has SIM experience, then in your resume, the exact word SIM and logs has to be on the piece of paper, has to be on your resume. Reason three, you're invisible because you have nothing to show. This is a big one, and it ties back to rung three. Most rejected candidates have certs, they have theory, but maybe they don't have anything demonstrable. Nothing a hiring manager can look at and go, okay, this person has actually done the job, he's done the position. Remember the home lag from the security foundations rung? This is where that pays off. The candidate who maybe writes up his own lab and says, I built a small network, I ran some vulnerability scans, I detected some attacks in the logs, instantly separates from the 50 people who just listed, I have Security Plus, and they're hoping for an interview. When I was hiring, the person who could point to the real work that they've done, even self-directed work, beat the person with the more certs every time. Reason four, you're not translating the experience you already have. If you're on a help desk right now, you're not a person with no experience. You are a person who hasn't maybe translated their experience into the security language yet. So say you're on the help desk and you've triaged a phishing email, or you've investigated locked out accounts, or you've looked at a multi-factor authentication issue that you resolved. That help desk work is security work. So most people bury it under I provided help desk support. Take the security adjacent things that you've done, like those that I've listed, and write them up like you actually have done security work, because that's what they are. When you're investigating why an account was locked out, that's security work. When you're looking at some phishing email and triaging it, that's security work. So write that up into your resume as experience. That's how you stop looking like a help desk tech, and then you start looking like somebody who's already done and in cybersecurity at a junior level. So say all those four techniques land and you get the interview. Here's the one thing that separates the people who get the offer, and it's the same thing I look for every time I sat across from a candidate. Can you talk about the real work instead of reciting maybe definitions? Anyone can define what a firewall is. The person who gets hired says, here's a time I've actually configured one. Here's what's broke. Here's how I fixed it, even if that's from your home lab. Specifics beat definitions every time. When I interviewed people, the ones who could walk me through something they had actually done, some experience they've actually had, I could feel the difference very quickly. Now, here's the thing that quietly beats a perfect resume altogether: being known before you ever apply. So let's look back at my career. Every real jump that I made happened because I've already gotten close to the work and the people doing it before the job was even open. Proximity can beat applications. The candidate, the security team already knows, who's already shown them project, who's already asked good questions. That's the person who doesn't fight through the funnel. They get pulled through it. So while you're fixing your resume, also get into the room. Get involved with the cybersecurity people in your company. Show that have demonstrated talent and actions, and become friends with them and show your skills to them. So whenever you apply for a job, they already know you and they say, hey, he could be a good candidate, and they pull you right through that funnel. If the rejections have been wearing you down, this next video is going to be an antidote for you. It's going to be the fastest path from help desk to your first security jobs. We're going to talk about the exact moves in order. So make sure you subscribe, hit the like button so you won't miss this video. And if you want a set of experienced eyes on your actual resume, somebody who's read these from the hiring side, I'll tell you how to get to that down in the description. You're not unqualified, you're just standing in the wrong door. Let's move you to the right door.